Welcome back to Arcane Answers. I'm your host, Lare, and with me, as always, are the magical Amanda and Sara. How you ladies doing today?
We're doing well. How are you?
I am messing up left and right, but I am back at it. And today we're going to be talking about haunted houses. And from what I understand, we're going to be all over the place, but I specifically am going to be in New England and most likely just Maine. All right. Well, without further ado, let's get into it. When people think of New England hauntings, they often associate them with a pair of famous paranormal investigators that are often problematic. And so we're going to avoid those and jump into something a little older and a little more interesting, in my opinion. It's the birth of the American ghost. And so this takes place in a little town in Sullivan, Maine around 1799. And it's not in a grand mansion, it's actually in a small, humble abode of Abner Blaisdell. This is where a highly active spirit of Nellie Butler, a young woman who died shortly after childbirth, manifested. Nellie wasn't like passive, she was actually quite talkative and physically manipulative of objects around her. She would make rapping sounds or use disembodied voices, even subtle physical manifestations to interact with the living. And I'm going to let you guys guess at what her motivation was.
Visit her daughter or her child that she died giving birth to.
You were so close. It was actually to get this is so funny. I'm sorry. But she was working actively to coordinate the remarriage of her surviving husband, George, to Abner Blaisdell's young daughter, Lydia.
I mean, that's kinda nice, though. She's just looking out for her husband. She's like, "Man, he doesn't take care of himself. He's probably gonna miss meals. I better get him remarried before I move on to a different plane of existence."
When I was researching this, it just said young daughter, so that really bugs me given the year because it doesn't give me an age.
That's totally fair.
Oh,
And I'm like,
yeah.
why do they stress the young daughter part? Lydia, how old were you? I don't know.
Probably not old enough.
But
Ooh.
yeah, let's skip off of that and jump into the traveling Reverend John Fisher, who meticulously collected 37 detailed eyewitness testimonies from community members over several months. And this was in-depth documentation too. He didn't just record hearsay, but he recorded or wrote down phenomenon like loud, deliberate rappings on walls, small objects being moved across rooms in view of multiple skeptical neighbors inside the house. So that's like our
It
first paranormal investigator is the good old Jonathan Fisher.
If I ever become a ghost, I hope I am able to move objects.
Right? Oh man, you'd feel so impotent without it.
Yeah, I feel like it would be a lot more fun to haunt people if you can slam stuff against the wall and knock things off the table like a cat.
Oh, like
absolutely.
poltergeist. I was thinking more like just like they're sitting down to dinner and you're just pushing that salt shaker out.
Yours is just a little nicer.
Yeah. Amanda's got some trauma going on.
Listen.
Shh.
So hold on. Was this the same reverend whose daughter was gonna be married to the guy?
No, Abner Blaisdell was, I guess, owner of the home, or
Okay.
I'm not really clear on that, but, like, so Nellie Butler was, like, died. I don't know if she died in the house, but, like, she was the person
Attached
who
to
was
it still?
haunting the house, and
Yeah.
so, to me, honestly, like, if I were to make up this story and I'm like, my wife just died in childbirth, and I'm like, "Hey, your young daughter looks pretty hot. I'm going to tell you about all these crazy wrappings in your house and what they mean. They want me to marry your daughter."
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad that's not the case because that's totally where I thought we were headed.
That's what it feels like, but, like, no, with, Reverend's notes, it's all like, "No, man, this stuff was really happening." Um, and, he just systematically documented everything, and, like, he made her the foundational, case for American paranormal research. She's like the OG American ghost.
That is
Interesting.
really cool. What year was that?
1799.
Nice.
Yeah, but it changed one house into the focal point of the supernatural. So that takes us from that focal point over to this one. I think you guys are going to love and hate. I don't know.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it's isolation, madness, and retribution all tied up into one.
That
So,
sounds pretty good, actually.
yeah, well, wait till you hear it. So, Sanguine Island Light in Maine. It's a lighthouse. In the early 1800s, a keeper was driven mad after his wife endlessly played a single tune on her piano. I guess she only had one sheet of music or something.
No, 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 no. He forgot to put his socks in the laundry one too many times.
No, this went
That
on
was the
for
madness and retribution.
this went on for
That
like a long period of time where she's just playing like the entertainer, like "Da, da, 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 da," and he's like, "Oh
yeah,
my god,
I
if you
wanna know
play,
what he did to deserve it.
oh
Chopsticks.
Chopsticks would be awful.
yeah, it would be off." Well, he murdered her.
Oh my god, that took a dark turn.
Addicted dark turn.
Yeah.
I
So
thought he
whatever
was
he
gonna
did, he can't top
no.
that. So
Nah.
he killed her and then he took his own life. So anyway, sailors and people visiting the lighthouse hear the sound of piano music coming from that area. And yeah,
I
I
wonder
Does
if it
music
ever
rape you?
occurred to him just to push the piano down the stairs or like murder seems they always say women are emotional, but then you see stories like this and you're like, "Really? There was no other solution?"
well, okay. Let me reset the stage for that. You're on an isolated island where you are a lighthouse keeper. And your wife just keeps playing the same tune over and over as if she is possessed. I imagine that madness takes its toll.
I I just I don't I tend to stop things before they drive me to the point of murder. Having a hard time empathizing with this particular character because if it's just piano playing, like that's like killing your spouse because they refuse to, I don't know.
Okay, so let's say
I
it
don't have a
is
good one.
chopsticks, and you're walking up the stairs, right? And it's a long walk up to the top of that lighthouse, and you're carrying your little can of kerosene, and it's just ding, ding, ding. And you're thinking, I'm going to get the axe on the way down, and I'm going to put a stop to this.
But
Yes,
you do
you
that by
axe
hitting the
the piano.
strings.
You could get
Don't
hurt
ask the
doing that.
wife.
Those things
Guy
are
killed
wound tight.
himself afterwards. Why on earth would he care about getting hurt in the commission of a piano murder? Now he's lonely. Like, he kills his wife, is immediately lonely, and then kills himself.
Well, okay, maybe it wasn't on the way down the stairs. Maybe he was just sitting there having a pipe and he's like, "Fuck it.
Today's the day, Bill.
She knows more than one song. She doesn't even need the sheet music. She's been playing for years." Yeah. But anyway, that is my 2 stories. I'm gonna save the Lizzie Borden house for another time.
Ooh, that'd be a good deep dive.
Yeah, I think it would be a good episode on its own. So anyway, with that, Amanda, I'm gonna turn it over to you.
All right. So, our first stop is going to be in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. So, this is arguably one of the most haunted places in Toronto. It is the Mackenzie House, and it's the former residence of William Lyon Mackenzie. This guy was amazing, by the way. So, he started out as a merchant who ended up realizing the government was super corrupt and opened the first independent newspaper in Ontario called the Colonial Advocate. After that, he ends up becoming the first mayor of Toronto, leads a failed rebellion against the British in 1837, and then decides to start his own mini country on an
Okay.
island called Navy Island, which was owned by the British. And so, for his troubles, and audacity, he was exiled to the United States for like 10 years.
For his
Anyway,
Alba?
yeah, yeah, essentially. So he gets invited back. Like one of the queens is like, listen, you wacky rebel, come on home. And so he's gifted this house and lives there for a while, ends up dying relatively shortly into his stay. And so the house in the 1950s gets some new caretakers, the Edmonds.
I have questions about why the queen was like, "Hey, you are trying to overthrow the government, and you try to make your own government."
Well, he died of softening of the brain, whatever that means, and he was only let back in, like, 2 years before he died, so it could be that he was granted a reprieve because he
He had
was
a soft brain.
senile.
I bet softening of the brain was like, Alzheimer's.
Oh, for
Yeah, that's
sure.
what I'm guessing too. Okay,
I
so
mean, it's not visible. They're not like, "Hey, that man over there, he's got a soft brain. Let's give him a house."
right,
I
right.
wonder I wonder if they tried skull cap or skull powder.
No, probably. I don't wanna talk about it. So, anyway, the caretakers are hearing all this weird stuff. The printer, the, like, old-timey newspaper printer, ends up starting to work itself at night randomly.
Wait, like a Gutenberg press? I mean, what year is
Yeah.
this?
Well, it's like the 1800s, so it's a mid-1800 model. Still unsettling, but it's not probably not, like, setting its own type or something.
That's what I'm picturing,
I
like,
mean, maybe it was.
just
I don't
like
really
lead
know.
slate going in, and they're like, "Damn, whatever this has to say is from the other side."
Yeah.
Just the ghost newspaper of the time.
Yeah, except it's done by some mush brain.
And then the piano starts playing itself, and, like, the final straw for Mrs. Edmund is her waking up to this apparition of a woman leaning over to her, and the apparition full on just slaps her and then disappears.
Absolutely not.
That's exactly what Mrs. Edmund said. She's like, "Oh, no." So, the house in 1960 received an exorcism, and this exorcism was actually broadcast on the CBC. So I went and looked for footage of this, and unfortunately, the footage wasn't well kept and basically disappeared. So either it
Oh,
disintegrated or it was lost in a move. Like nobody can find it, but it was on air, so people of the time could like they watched this exorcism on television if they so chose. And so the house today is a museum. You can go there. It's owned, I think, by the city. But yeah, so most haunted place in Toronto, Ontario, Canada is the Mackenzie house.
Mackenzie has I'm looking up how to see how far that is from me.
Yeah, he seems pretty cool. Like, I really enjoyed the the, owner because he just sounded like just a spitfire.
The
Yeah,
new owner or the old owner?
I mean, he persisted through death, so the guy was not finished with whatever mission he had going on.
Well, you probably forgot that he was dead.
That is
'Cause of
unfortunate.
the
Also,
mush
that is a new
brain.
terrifying possibility with dementia, and I hate that you put that in my brain.
Oh,
He's
just
like, "What was
demented
I doing? I was
ghosts.
working the typeset, I think is what I was doing.
Yeah,
Damn it,
that's
woman.
awful.
I'm trying to do some work here."
Stop playing that tune.
Oh, that lighthouse keeper was right.
Tune at the house of or the Mackenzie house is also chopsticks. Alright, so my second location had a horror movie made about it, but it's called the Diplomat Hotel. So, the Diplomat Hotel did not start out as a hotel. So, this was originally a retreat and what would be a seminary for an American friar group called the Dominican Order. So, they finished this, they used this up until World War II, and during World War II, the Japanese Imperial Army invaded. And so the civilians started rushing in to take refuge in this place, but the soldiers came in and proceeded to torture just all manner of horrific misdeeds against the nuns and priests and refugees, killed just massive quantities of people, and also set up what they call a comfort station using trafficked women, um, for the soldiers in this place. So, any amount of just desecration you can imagine, this is what took place in this
That
building.
is so messed up.
Yeah,
That's
on this
awful.
property. And so, eventually, the American forces came in and took the Philippines in 1949, and then the Dominican Order renovated the property and used it up until about 1973 when they decided to sell it to some hoteliers. Is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah, I believe so. Now, was there any reports of it being haunted by the monk order or whatever they are?
Oh, yes, yes,
Oh,
yes. So, but the story doesn't end there. So, this becomes a hotel, and the hotel is managed by Tony Agpawa, who is a Filipino practitioner of psychic surgery. Now, do either of you know what psychic surgery is?
absolutely.
No. How do I
Would you
not
like
know what this is?
would you like to tell the class, Larry?
Yeah, sometimes like people will have like, let's say a rubber thumb full of chicken gizzards and blood, and they shove it into your stomach and pretend like they're pulling out your innards, like saying, "Look, there's some stomach cancer in here," and they pull out some guts. And
That's
then they
awful.
wipe it off, and there's no wound on your belly.
Oh,
Yeah. So, have you ever
I
seen
hate
Man in the
that.
Moon about
No,
Andy Kaufman?
I have not.
No, I don't think so. Maybe.
So, Andy Kaufman was a comedian in the 70s and up into the 80s.
Oh, yeah, yeah, no, I did see
Yeah,
that, Jim Carrey was in it, right?
correct. Yes. And so he ends up, well, I mean, I don't know how to do this without a spoiler, but the movie is also like 25 years old. So, um, sorry if you haven't seen it already. But he actually seeks out like a miracle cure from somebody who does the psychic surgery in Baguio, the Philippines. I wish I knew how to pronounce that. I really wish I would have looked it up. But, and so I actually looked to see if maybe that this was done at this hotel because Tony Agpawa practiced out of this 33-bed hotel. Like, people from Europe and the United States would go there seeking these last-ditch effort miracle
It's
cures, which, of
gotta
course, they
be.
That's wild.
I don't,
Yeah.
or it could just that could just be a local flavor of shamanism. I'm not really sure. I couldn't find any connecting, but it really made me deeply suspicious. So some of the ghosts that are seen at this hotel are headless priests and nuns,
Of course.
Japanese soldiers, and unsettling noises that sound like screams and cries.
Oh,
That's awful.
Yeah. But we had touched on the Crescent Hotel where people were actually dying in the hotel.
Yes.
This was not a place where additional people died. They'd come for the cure, they'd leave, they'd go home and do their business. So there wasn't an
die
additional
elsewhere.
amassment of what's that?
Die elsewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there wasn't like a great amassing of new ghosts, but there's still that residual World War II just horror
Yeah,
show.
horrific event.
Yes, and Tony Agpawa died in 1987. The hotel closed around the same time because without him managing it, it just kind of unraveled. And
Mhm.
so there's been talks of renovating it now. It's owned by the city and sits on Dominican Hill still, but it's just falling into disrepair even further. So
I
So
think
it's no
maybe just a
longer
nice memorial would be good.
I was also thinking the same. That's not a place you want to restore. That's a place that
Absolutely not.
needs healing.
well, didn't Korea put up a bunch of statues of comfort women around to kinda remind things of this bad time that happened to them, but
Yeah, they
like,
did.
also strength?
I'm not 100% sure how the Philippines dealt with the same issue. But I know they have been that's been a nation that has just been brutalized by country after country after country.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, they use the peso, right?
Yeah, so they were under Spanish control, definitely, I think American control for a while. Uh, I know France had Vietnam. I'm not sure if they had up into the Philippines. Um, I don't think they did. I think it was Spanish primarily, and they just did awful things. So,
Well, that's downbeats.
I'm sorry, but the psychic healing was too good to pass up. I had to get that one in there because the story was just so strange.
Psychic healing's a bizarre phenomenon. I've watched so many videos of it, and when I first saw it, I was like, "Wow, that's amazing." Because they do the thing where they put their fingers on, the body, and then they
Yeah.
push down like their fingers went into them, but obviously they just curled them, you know?
Yeah.
Right.
And then there's copious amounts of blood. It's interesting to watch.
Well, the I forgot to tell you, and this is kind of a fun detail. So Tony Agpawa came to the United States to get it to get healthcare, I think, for his son. Ended up practicing some of his, fraud
Bullshit.
and actually got arrested and charged with fraud, and so he ended up this is in 1968, so he basically escaped from the US and went back to the Philippines. That was, like, the preview or, the run-up to him managing this hotel.
Jeez.
Just a charlatan. It's amazing.
Good lord.
Yeah. And then the amazing Randy tracked him down to defrocked him. We should touch on the
Yeah.
amazing Randy sometime.
I don't know anything about Amazing Randy, so I would love to touch on Amazing Randy.
Now, I understand that he has some problems in his past, but, he is a pretty fascinating guy. He started off as a stage magician and went on to be, like, one of the world's most foremost debunkers, and he offered
Interesting.
$1,000,000 to anybody who can prove their claim of the paranormal, and it has to be in a controlled situation and repeatable,
Interesting.
Scientific method for the win.
and no one's ever
Gotta
won
love
it.
it. So my haunted house is the Thornewood Castle. Have you guys heard of this?
No, tell me more.
Yeah,
Okay.
no.
Have either of you seen the movie Rose Red?
Is
No.
that the Stephen King one?
Yeah. It was like a 3 or 4-part miniseries he did in the late 90s, early 2000s.
I recall it wasn't very good, but yeah, I've seen it.
Okay. So Rose Red is based off of the Thornwood Castle and the Mystery Mansion, Winchester Mystery Mansion. So, the Thornwood Castle is actually located in Lakewood, Washington. This is an amazing 3-story manor that was technically rebuilt in 1911. So, in 1911, after becoming one of the founders of the Port of Tacoma, Chester Thorne decided he needed to build a nice, modest home for his wife Anna, and their one daughter Anita.
I'm looking at this
So,
modest home right now.
uh-huh. So Chester found and purchased a 27,000 square foot manor in England. He had the manor disassembled completely, shipped to Lakewood, and then reassembled
I'm not
with the
That
opposed
help,
is
to that.
rich people stuff.
right?
No, that is
Why
yeah,
not? If you okay, I'm not saying he should not be building orphanages or hospitals or something, but, like, you got a little money, spend a little money on yourself. It's
that's a lot of money.
it's
Eh,
pretty incredible looking house, though.
It's beautiful. It's a bed and breakfast now. Okay. So, mind you, it's just his wife Anna, and their daughter Anita. With the help of his wife Anna, the manor became a modest 54-room home.
Is that
Which
all?
that's all, just a modest little thing. Um, they did have with the 3 family members, they had 40 servants.
Okay.
Anybody else? Did you do the math on that?
So the
3
It's
hell are
like
you gonna do with 40 servants? Like,
13 servants per person.
Well, you
yeah.
you have quite a bit of room, you know?
So you're lonely, so you just brought servants and you pay them to be your friends?
Now think about it, like, you have a chef, and then you have your cooks, and you have the people doing the cleaning. You probably have chambermaids. Like, that's gonna
That's
add
so
up.
wild to me, though.
13 people at my disposal. I would feel claustrophobic.
Well, I don't think that it's, like, individualized. I think they all have their own places. You probably including groundskeepers. You probably, got a chauffeur or 2.
I actually believe those were just the people that lived in the house and took care of the house
The
and the people in it.
domestics.
Correct. I'm pretty sure they had landscapers and stuff as well,
Hmm.
but I could be wrong. Regardless, that's a lot of people. Um, so obviously the Thorns were very wealthy people. They threw lavish parties for other very wealthy people in the area that, Seattle, Lakewood. Well, it wasn't Lakewood at the time, but the Tacoma area.
Yeah.
But Chester wasn't just one of those rich a-holes, as far as I could find. So Chester helped with the finding of the Mount Rainier Park, which helped with conservation of some of the natural trees that were indigenous to the area. And in 1893, when an economic depression hit Tacoma, it said that Chester actually donated money and supplies to people in need.
See? Yeah.
So today, some of those lavish parties can still be experienced at Thornewood Castle. So it's now a bed and breakfast. Absolutely beautiful. I think it sits on like 35 acres. So people will say in the middle of the night that they hear parties or gathering going on in areas that there is absolutely no one in. There's also an apparition of a man and a woman who are sometimes seen at the top of the grand staircase as if they're walking in
Did anyone
to said
die
party.
there? I mean, what would cause this haunting?
Yes. So Chester and his wife both died on the grounds. I couldn't find a whole lot of confirmed deaths, but he did die in the house of cancer in, I think it said 1957.
That sounds astrological. He died in the house of cancer.
Yes. Oh, and his wife died a couple of years later. Their daughter inherited the house and later had to sell it due to financial hardship, I believe is what I read.
Oh,
But
renting a
Chester,
50-room mansion is gonna be bankrupting you? I can't imagine.
well, she came from a lot of wealth, and I'm sure she was the only child, so
Well, oh.
beneficiary.
Oh, so she was just bad with money?
Probably. I don't know. I didn't read much into that, but so
Oh, I'm
it
reading
said that
lots
Chester,
into it.
it wasn't about ghosts. I didn't care. I couldn't find, oddly enough, I couldn't find much on the ghost parties. I was like, I need more information.
Mhm.
But it was only ever mentioned that they would hear ghost parties in the
Yeah,
middle of the night, music and that's kind of it.
it's just
Um
chopsticks again.
right, the damn chopsticks. So Chester is seen lingering in his former room because of course out of the 57 rooms they had in the house, he and his wife each had their own. So, sometimes it's reported that people will see him, like, fixing a light bulb in that room. Coincidentally, the lights like to flicker off and on in that room. So Anna is often seen in her room.
Mhm.
This room has been converted into the bridal suite, which houses one of Anna's original mirrors that she used to sit and get ready at.
Ah.
So, of course, her reflection is seen in that mirror. Could you just
Oh,
imagine being a
gotcha.
bride on your wedding day, like, sitting there doing your makeup, and you look up and there's an apparition of a woman dressed in early 1900s, just like, "Hey, girl,
I'm glad. I mean, she's supporting other women. I'm
Yeah,
here to celebrate with you.
that sounds nice, actually.
I mean, that would just be a jump scare. Yeah, this isn't a
Oh,
terrible
right,
one,
like, you go to wash your face in the sink, and then bam! Behind
right?
you,
You look
there's
up and you're like, "God, Anna, announce yourself." Um, the only other ghost that I was able to find on there was, a child that is next to the lake. people will see a child running down towards the lake and run after it thinking, "Oh gosh, this kid got away from its parents,"
Mhm.
just to not ever find a child or have any children that have been missing. And some sources said that one of Chester's grandchildren actually drowned in that lake.
That's
That's
pretty sad.
depressing.
That's yes, but that was the only mostly only depressing thing of that story, so
I know you guys just find the sour note and end on that.
I listen, it didn't fit anywhere else.
That's hilarious.
And there was only, like, 3 ghosts that were really talked about a whole lot.
Yeah, I wanna know more about the ballroom ghosts,
Yeah,
I get your desire to track that thread down.
and even better, the only place that mentioned it more than 1 sentence was the Ghost Adventurers website.
That is all we have time for tonight. Join us next time as we're going to be talking about vampires?
People love vampires.
Mhm.